E marau suara sakrain grek suhartia te arte pepe kanantu urte. Ajajar, haran de karai sindire ke sokare wa echena. Reiki with Sabrina, welcome to Urtu Asia. Melme, welcome. Kuutira sechena tu saatara tigre shit arata hire. Birishu artia sandare kurtia pier katatura nakarya. Good morning, good morning. Gradia riendere situru hartia sachera tu urtia pa aha nire kruka. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome. Hi, Reiki with Sabrina. Hi, the Reiki Room, Jess. Hi, Ashley. Welcome. Mel. Pearls. Good morning. Happy Friday. Hi, Luna Moon. Hi, Kim La Ponte. We're gonna do some energetic hygiene, some morning boost, energetic boost here. So I gotta get the audio volume right here. Hi, Stacy. Grandi shiti asima halidu rotofrasa kur. Kimartata urtia sakra karas. And thank you for the likes. Rara. We're just gonna let some more people come in. You like it? I like it. It's all shiny. I got my space gear on. Yeah, I figured I'd use it. I didn't get really a chance to use it this summer at all because it was too hot. This stuff is hot. It makes it very warm. What's good? All is good. It's all good. It makes me happy. Yeah, it's fun. You know, it makes my inner child happy. I put on a little costume. Let's play around a little bit. Thank you for the love and light, Kiki. Kikichi Kuata from Australia. Yeah, where's everybody coming from? Where's everybody located at? Mirowara. Thank you for the flames. Hi, Anne. Welcome. Michigan? Okay, cool. It's a little bit... Oh, Florida. How are things over there in Florida? Marysville, Washington. You're local as well. I'm up near Mount Vernon. Cedar Woolley, actually. San Diego, California. Awesome. Washington State. Yeah, awesome. Beautiful. Yeah, San Diego. I lived in right on the beach in Pacific Beach, Mission Beach for a while. Hey, Cedar Woolley, go figure. Are you actually back in Cedar Woolley? I think weren't you living in Seattle for a bit? Northern California, praying for Florida. Yeah, we sending lots of love and energetic support for what's going on down there in the southeast. Yeah, I loved living there in San Diego. Oh, hey, Buck, thank you for the roses, brother. Good to see you here. From Ireland, right on. That's going to be an afternoon boost, it sounds like. Oh, right on. Skagit Bridal Hair and Makeup. Beautiful. Congratulations. Awesome. Well, now I know if I know anybody's getting married, I will definitely refer them your way. Or just in general, I'm sure you probably do all sorts of stuff. Yeah, Joey, Makeup Monster, and I went to high school together. It's funny. Sometimes people run into me on their For You that I went to school with and stuff. Which I'm sure for some people it's probably like what the fuck? What is he doing? Which is fine. It's all right. Got over that pretty quick. Good morning. So yeah, today, just like the last couple days, we're just going to do some energetic hygiene stuff. Just go through a bit of a protocol that I do when I wake up. Just do some shielding work, some armoring work, and do some cleansing and clearing, bring in some good light from the stars, good information, just to kind of give us a nice little boost, and then whatever comes through. Yeah, I'm currently in Skagit still. Yeah, I'm in Cedar Woolley right now. Sometimes I like to I will do some classes and stuff over in Mount Vernon at Mystical Wares. So if you haven't been to Mystical Wares in Mount Vernon, I highly recommend it. I call it the mothership all sorts of cool stones and other metaphysically inspired products. Let's get coffee. Absolutely, I'm down for sure. That'd be great. Connect with inner planet beings. Very important messages. Please talk to them. Yeah, I've actually, there's a lot of, there's actually been some aspects of self that have woke up that were in the earth, which was a trip. I think they're probably like different Anu versions of me, like the big red-haired giant types. It could have been, it might not be in the physicality, but there's a lot going on inside there. So all right, so let's just go ahead and jump into it. I'm going to take out my little buddy here. For those that don't know, I experience what people refer to as aphantasia, so I don't visualize. I command things, I know things, so I know that it's going to work, and then I command it into being. But I also use this little tool here. This is my little homie. He needs a name. I still haven't given him a name. I need to give him some shorts or something too, because he's so exposed. Poor buddy. Yeah, people send me invites. But what I do is I entangle everybody with this buddy, so that almost like a voodoo doll. So with the whole collective of anybody that's going to be receiving today, I just entangle that group hologram with this guy, so I can feel the energy of the group through this guy, and I can do work on him, and it's going to go to everybody. Just as an extra. I don't need to do it, but it just sometimes it's helpful to kind of like add extra layers, and I like to share that too. And you can do that yourself. You can entangle. You can quantum entangle somebody's energy field with any object. You can do it with a pillow, with your phone, with a water bottle. You know, you just kind of have to identify what part's what. You entangle it with your intentions, and then you can work on them that way. Hey Spence, welcome. So yeah, if you're open to receive, what we're going to do first is we're just going to start with a 12D shield, just a basic 12D shield, just to make sure that whatever comes through. I mean, I already set up a bunch of architecture to assist in this space, because sometimes people can scroll through that. You know, I won't get into it, but so we're just going to start with the 12D shield. So if you're open to receive, this is for the highest good of all only. No harm will be done, no energy will be taken that is not freely given out of love. And it's an alignment for the highest good of all only. So we're going to feel into the center of your brain, your pineal gland. It's like right in the middle of your brain and back slightly. Just place your awareness there, and we're going to fire up a little shape, a little platinum silver shape that's going to spin, and it's going to move down through the spinal column, through our pranic tube. So it's going to move down, going through the energy centers, down through the throat, energy center, moving down through the high heart, the solar plexus, going down through the sacral, through the root, cleansing and clearing as it goes down between the legs, down below our feet, and connecting with the 13th chakra that we share with the earth. And it's going to spin up. It's going to spin faster and faster there. And it's going to eject a platform, a platinum platform. Diamond platinum platform. And then this diamond platinum light is going to begin to flow upwards from this platform. It's about, you know, it's big enough that you can't touch the sides. And this light is going to continue to flow up through our shins, up through our knees, through our thighs and hamstrings, up past our waist, through our torso, moving up through our upper back, through our arms, through our neck and throat, through our head and face, above our head. About 1 meter above our head is where it's going to stop. And then we're going to place another platform on top, sealing in this space. So this is a 12D diamond pillar. That's just going to hold space for us. We're just going to add another layer as well. So I'm just going to open up our hearts with our own love frequency. Put a truncated icosahedron, so like a C60 or a fullerene shape. On the faces of this shape, we're going to place silver and platinum mirrors, a mix of silver and platinum on the outside and inside. And then we're going to expand your own love frequency to go around this structure. In 3, 2, 1. I'm gonna ask to rotate it very gently. And so you're filling in this space with your own frequency, your own love frequency. And this is just going to hold space for us. I'm going to place a code in all of our hearts. It's going to bring all of our energy, all of our geometry, all of our code back to us here and now. Just going to feel that coming in. You can visualize this coming back to you. It can look like code. It can look like light. It can look like whatever you want. It's not really important. Or you don't even have to. You don't have to see it because I don't see it. So just feel it coming back to you. Know that it's coming back to you. Command everything to come back to you. Return your energy back to you here and now. Calling in all your multidimensional aspects. And we're going to ask anything that's harmful to step out and anything helpful to step in. We're only working with organic architecture, and only working with those in service to the law of one. So what I'm going to do now, I've already established my pillar of light. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect to Mother Earth. In Mother Earth's heart, she's got a structure that we call a Merkaba. So it's two tetrahedrons that are superimposed over each other. The top tetrahedron of Mother Earth's Merkaba is like an electric green, like a hot green color. The bottom tetrahedron is a platinum frequency. One spins clockwise, one spins counterclockwise twice as fast. And we're going to connect to that bottom tetrahedron and grab that magnetic frequency. It's going to flow up through the rocks and the minerals, up through the root, up and into the heart space. I'm going to place a code in that that's going to keep it running, so I don't have to hold my intention on that. So I'm going to put a timer on that to run for the next 20 minutes or so. I'm going to connect to Sirius, the star Sirius, which is our father, sun. It's our spiritual sun. So the masculine energy, it's an electric energy. We're going to pull down this frequency. It's like a hot pink frequency down through the crown, down and into the heart space, through all the energy centers. So we're connecting the magnetic with the electric. So we get our energy from the earth, we get our information and light from the stars. Asking this to continue to flow. And then I'm going to open my heart. And actually, while these are flowing into our hearts, I'm going to actually bring a code into each of our hearts. It's going to help open our hearts. So if we have any kind of blockages that are keeping us from fully opening our hearts, this is going to assist with bypassing that. It works with the physical, the endocrine system, and also the energetics to help open the heart to feel that love frequency, because healing truly comes from the heart. So a white stream is going to come down from the constellation of Sagittarius. It's going to flow down through our crown and then down into our heart space. And then through this, I'm asking for this code that helps open our hearts. And it's going to come down in a jade green cylinder with this code in it. It's going to flow down through this white stream, through the crown, through the upper chakras, and into the heart. And it's going to spin in a clockwise direction, spit out these frequencies that help open our hearts. So now it's just a good time just to like feel into your heart. It's the center of your chest. Try to get that welling up feeling, like when you're really, you're really feeling that love. Think those happy thoughts. Like I always like to say, like Peter Pan, think happy thoughts. Like go back to maybe a memory that just gives you that warm feeling. Maybe thinking of a loved one, or like the love of the unconditional love of a pet, something like that. Or just you can visualize your heart just being like a bright star that just keeps growing and growing and growing. Or you can see your heart chakra spinning in a clockwise direction. Lately I've been using one of those fidget spinners and spinning that just and helping to open my heart. You can just be creative, play with it. And then I'm going to eject the magenta frequency out from my heart and into a code that I'm placing in the back of our hearts. It's going to flow this magenta frequency into the back of the heart. I'm going to ask this to continue to flow. And what this does is it's going to bring some frequencies from the stars. It's going to connect to Alpha Centauri, it's going to connect to Vega, and it's going to connect to Electra, which is in the Pleiades. And this is going to help with manifestation, with confidence, and of course with healing. So these are going to flow in and assist. I'm going to create a double of myself. He's going to place his hands on the front of the knees of the hologram. And he's going to release what we refer to as Egyptian clearing pyramids or clearing pyramids. They're going to come out in sets of two. They go around the body and they spin and they transmute energy. Excuse me. and they transmute energy. So they're gonna come out in sets of 2 up to 8 of those, and they're just gonna go around the body and help us out here. So he's gonna leave his hands on there. And then I'm going to plug in a bunch of different healing frequencies, kind of like a cocktail of a whole bunch of just awesome healing frequencies. We'll plug that into the hologram. Those are gonna flow in where they're needed. I'm gonna put a timer on that to ask it to run for the next hour. So you're gonna continue to receive these healing frequencies. Frequencies for self-love, for perfect health, for confidence, for abundance, unity consciousness, angel frequencies, diamond frequencies, 13 stone of Atlantis, angel, dolphin frequencies, all sorts of stuff, dragon frequencies, whatever is needed for you at this time is going to flow in there. They're just asking me to help with the grounding cords real quick. The groundings, the grounding cords, they're connected to the root that go down through the legs and into the earth. So I'm just going to code for that real quick. Grounding is really, really helpful right now is what I'm getting. So it's really important to really ground. If we can be in nature, it's really, really helpful. Even if you can't, I like to use a bunch of different grounding tools. I have a mat that goes next to my computer that's connected to the ground in my house. I have one that's on the floor over there or when I'm sitting. I've got shungite underneath my couch. I've got silver lined sheets, bed sheets that are plugged into the ground on my bed. This just helps release those negative ions or those positive ions. Now we're going to go through and cleanse the column, our pillar. I'm going to use this a shortcut key to do this. You can place this between the root and the sacral. This is going to go through and do this automatically. It goes through the upper chakras to the ones outside the body, all the way to the alpha transmission center, all the way down through the lower chakras into the past the lower, the ones that are outside the body, and into the omega transmission center and back up. And now I'm just going to begin to channel. Just channel energies, whatever needs to come through. So if you're open to receive, I would just be open-minded and feel your body. You know, just check in with how you're feeling right now. You might feel things shifting. If you're sensitive to subtle energies, you might feel some tingles, or some pressure changes, or some temperature changes. You might just feel, it might be really subtle, and you might just not even notice that you're starting to feel better and better, or have a little bit more energy, feel lighter and lighter. So just check in right now. Check into how you're feeling right now. Just, how am I feeling? Maybe even give yourself a rating, like, I'm feeling about a 7 out of a 10 right now. Just feel that, or a 5 out of a 10, whatever it is. If you have pain, maybe identify the level of pain that you have. And then check in again once we're done. I'm using a tool called light linguistics. So I'm using my hands, my body, to adjust subtle frequencies that are channeling through me. Kind of like playing my energy field like an instrument. So we have these different energy centers that come in like a scale of like octaves, similar to the octaves of music, and it's exactly just like that. So I'm making subtle frequency shifts using the energies that are running through the body, through the axial tonal lines that come through the hands, and changing those frequencies by adjusting what we would refer to as mudras. And you might see that in like some, spiritual, religious stuff where they're, doing different mudras. That helps facilitate different frequencies that move through the body. So I'm doing a lot of those, and I'm adjusting those. So it's like holding chords on an instrument and kind of strumming, releasing different frequencies on I would weave light. So light is data, light is information. Because we're essentially walking, talking programs. We're a set of programs that we've either adopted through genetics, through our childhood, through the definitions that other people have given us, and then through our own experiences. So what we can do with light, since light is data and we are light, we can change the data and thus change the experience that we have in physicality. We are adjusting the morphogenetic fields. This is what people would refer to as quantum healing work. because it exists outside of space-time. We work at the template levels that then trickle into physical reality. If you want to refer to it as like the geometric reality, where everything is a template, where all possibilities are possible. So what I'm speaking is also a form of light linguistics, light languages. It's not always directly translatable. It's meant to go through the filters of the recipient and get them what they need. So it's like music, right? Because music isn't like there's one meaning to a song, right? Or what it means to, it's not, there's not a blanket understanding for a song. It's meant to be felt. It's meant to be vibed with. And the same thing with the lyrics, because the lyrics are meant to be interpreted by each person in a way that it means something to them. It works very similar to that. It's very powerful. We are music. We are our own unique song. Thank you, Buck. We are our own unique song. All of us have our own unique music. You know, you can say that some of us are more like country music, some of us are more like hip hop, some of us are more like EDM, some of us are a mashup of all different genres. But energy work, energy healing, is all about getting rid of noise that's in our song so that we can hear our own music, so we can know who we are. Because we are already perfect, and our truest self is hidden behind all this trauma and stuck emotions that are stored in our body and our energy field. So energy healing is really about shifting discordant frequencies, things that are out of resonance with your own unique song. There's no judgment to anything. It's just what is in alignment with that song, what sounds good with that song. And this work can also change your song too. So we can add more bells and whistles to your song. So we can maybe add another layer to your track, or add, another instrument, or another vocalist, things like that, using this analogy. The universe, the one song. Oh, thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Shannon. Thank you, Shannon. Papura mara haria takrasi risirato satisheti sadati isirato. I love you too, Luna. And I'm always happy to answer questions too. I know this stuff is weird. I'm in no illusion to that whatsoever. This stuff gets activated. It's not something that you really learn. It's something that you learn to understand after it starts to come and move through you. It gets spontaneously activated in some people. Some people have been doing it their whole life and not really understood that they're doing it. Part of my role is to help bridge the informational gap, to help bridge the left hemisphere of the brain with the right hemisphere of the brain, that logical side with that intuitive side, the feminine side with the masculine side. We want to find that balance. All this woo-woo stuff is not outside of logic. It's not outside of science. It's not outside of understanding. It's just, unfortunately, things have been kind of distorted and manipulated to a point where everybody just kind of buys into this collective belief system, these collective definitions that have been kind of pushed on us, and we've adopted. And it's not, we all have gone through it. We're all deprogramming right now, one way or another. Whether it's in the physicality, our physical reality is a shit show as it is, as we know, right? If we look through, I don't watch the news, but I'm sure if you watch the news, it just is a scary shit show. But it's also different in the more subtle frequencies as well. I'm going to trigger a figure 8 that's going to move through the whole body. It's going to help move energy through. I'm going to do a figure 8 12 times. Ask that to continue to flow for the next 15 minutes. I'm going to drop some light codes into that. See whatever is appropriate for everybody. Yeah, if you don't buy into this stuff, that's totally cool. I don't blame you, you know. Just because you don't know my middle name doesn't mean that like I'm smarter than you or something, that I have the answers. You just haven't heard my middle name yet, you know. So I don't blame you because a lot of people haven't talked about this stuff yet, or if this is it's not being pushed onto people. So I fully understand. I was a complete cynic and a skeptic at one point to this stuff, but it got activated within me. And once you start having the experiences, you got to kind of try to understand it, especially if you're such a logical-minded person like I have been. I've been very much. I was very much stuck in that left hemisphere of the brain. I thought I knew shit. I thought I had the answers. You know, I thought my quick research via Google was accurate. You know, which it can be. Doesn't mean it's not. It's just we got to use critical thinking. We need to feel too. That's the problem. We haven't been feeling. Hi, from Arizona. Welcome. Nara tara kire kire sitra sitra tu sarata kira kara kaya sitra mahutu baraka. Hi from England. Well, welcome to Araki Kisha. Awesome to have you, Morgan. Karai karaki sereti sereta urkya sakaram. Thank you for subscribing, by the way. I appreciate that. Thank you for showing support. Turandi resi rahatu urya sakaya nama. You need to heal your thyroid. Well, you know what? I'm probably going to be jumping on again tonight and doing healings. So doing group healings on certain topics. So I write out different suggestions in a circle, and then I use a pendulum to choose which healing intention that we work on. So we'll go through a number of those. So I would keep an eye out if I go live again tonight. I'm not sure what time zone you're in, but that might be an option. I'll try to post it on I'll try to post it on YouTube afterwards too, so you can go back, because thyroid usually pops up when people suggest different intentions for healing. Yeah, let's bring in some. So we said MS flare up. So let's bring in some starlight from the constellation of Ophiuchus to help calm and bring healing into the nervous system and assist the nervous system in holding more light. So this white diamond stream is going to flow down from the constellation of Ophiuchus, which is the snake bearer that rules that nervous system. It's going to flow down from this like diamond stream down through into the head and face, through all the little streams and rivers of the nervous system, all the little nerve endings, all the grapevines with the little grapes at the end, through the head and the face, down through the neck and throat, through the spinal cord, moving down through the shoulders, bringing healing, bringing calming into the nervous system, expanding it. If our nervous system is really tight and contracted, it's going to help expand those nerves so that it can hold more light and be in a calm state. And move it down through the shoulders, the biceps and triceps, through the elbows, the forearms, the wrists, hands, fingers, and thumbs. I would just set your intentions to receive, to focus the codes that are coming through, the light that is coming through towards that intention, towards whatever condition that you would like it to. It can go towards anything. These codes are multidimensional, they're dynamic, and just feel it go into those areas. Use your imagination, see it go into those areas. Go into the hands and fingers and thumbs, going through the chest, this light, through the nervous system, through the heart, the lungs, into the upper back, middle back and lower back, through all the vital organs, the hips, the buttocks, the groin, thighs, the hamstrings, the knees, shins, calves, ankles, feet, and toes. Then we're going to expand this light. We're going to ask to expand it to whatever level is safe and appropriate for each person in this now moment for them. Some people's nervous system is not quite ready to hold a certain amount of light. So whatever is right for you in this now, we're just going to ask your higher self and your guidance teams to assist you with that. Miro ma tu ma nara tu ki ti se su 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 me ku na ma ragata hiri si tu shu tu shakata shiki papa du por pakana tati karakter se ti sa ta ru se me ata ipia. Почему не проходит на круг? Да пи-пи-пи-пи, он как-то ты марк, он как-то рар, пальцы, ты не ты так, он так, но ты тангу, макро фуку, кая, Kira here kira sakra kutu tapi tak tu apa putih perakita tak ada gusun perse kata tu perak tu warti isi itu sata kata kini tapi itu apa mesu tatia sahambara shatur ya tata era tu ekra kiri mado arka nitra ektu siasa meratina la wasa la wala manmi lo la wa iwelu fa la kaya wa la lo su le wona hando wala inglese يقلع يرى يقلع بيش يقلع يتي يقلع كوكو يرى مشيتا تتسويا ما فوكو هفا هريا ساتاتا سيبرو تكرا تيرا شكتا شتا نا هتيرا كيسيتا شو رشكي اشا. People can also perceive the idea of light linguistics as a form of speaking spells, because it's data, it's information, and it is spells. So like when you see in like TV or movies, when wizards and stuff or magicians are speaking, there's abracadabra, all of their what sounds like different different languages, like Latin or whatever. That is emulating the idea of light languages, light linguistics. And that's why you also hear like spells in a phonetic tone, like in a cadence, right? Like oftentimes they rhyme. That's important because remember, we are music. So having things be like music is even more helpful. It can make it even more powerful if it has that rhythm to it, because we are music. So it has that resonance to it. And you'll see also in movies and TV, wizards and magicians, they do this, right? Or spirit fingers. They even call it spirit fingers. It's because it's a legit thing. Like we know these things, it's stored in our data or in our DNA. So we have a cellular memory of this stuff. It's just our soul knows, but the human programs, the ego structure has a hard time with these things just because it hasn't yet seen it. Sometimes when people see this stuff, they instantly remember, and that's what we would call an activation. An activation to me is just a triggering of a remembrance. And some people have a really emotional reaction to hearing light languages or feeling light languages because their soul recognizes it and they remember. Oftentimes people get activated with what we would refer to as their soul language first. So that's like the expression of their soul. It can be their own unique expression of light language, or it can sound like other people's light language comes from, if you want to say that it comes from certain areas. Like some people would say different star races or whatever. To me, they're all just different expressions of energy. So like wearing a different hat. You're the same person, you're just wearing a different costume. When you sound like the Godfather one, it really hits home for me. It makes me feel emotional. Oh, I'm sure they'll pop out. Everybody says that it sounds like the Godfather one. That's funny that everybody refers to it as Godfather. That one? Yeah, they use a lot of heart too, so they're always looking up as well. And again, these aren't different beings, they're just different expressions of me, different fractals, different just expressions of Tai. Tai L is the idea of all the different versions of me. So we heal things in this reality from our childhood, from our adulthood, and we start to heal things from other realities. And that might be a jump in understanding that some people aren't quite ready yet for. Some people don't quite buy into the idea that we are spirit first and we're having a human experience. And we are incarnated countless times. Not necessarily reincarnated, we're just incarnated because everything's happening at once. We have the experience of time and space. In this physical reality, those are parameters that we've assigned to it as a collective, saying, hey, in this game, we're gonna have these rules. Some of those rules are like, hey, we're gonna have gravity So in certain places, gravity is going to be lighter. In some places, it's going to be heavier. You know, everything's going to feel dense and hard. You know, we're going to have to eat. Like our energy gets drained, so we're going to have to find ways to get energy. We're just playing this game with certain parameters, and those parameters are changing right now. The game rules are changing, which is a really exciting time to be in. So people are going to start seeing more and more interesting stuff. If you get, for those that are new to this stuff, I recommend to start looking into paranormal evidence stuff. That might be an easy way to start to transition, or go to like haunted things. Try to have your own experience with these subtle energies, because the paranormal stuff is a really lower vibrational experience, but it's really close to physical reality. So sometimes we can literally see it manifest, right? So that's why so many people will see ghosts and have physical experiences that trip them out. It's because they're usually they're lower vibrational. They're closer to the dense vibration that we are in physical reality. But that can be an easy transition for some people, because you can measure these things. Like voices can be heard. You can have physical experiences, being touched, being moved, watching things be moved. What reality is truly like, it's even crazier than that. That's just closer to the dense reality. But that can be a transitionary bridge for some people too. It was for me. It helped me because I was like I said, I was very logical minded. I was stuck in I understood reality from the perspective of Newtonian physics, like I was taught, like I was programmed to think that that's how everything worked. It was physicality, and our experiences and consciousness were a side effect of physicality, right? Our brain is a receiver. It's our biocomputer. It's a quantum computer. We're energy first. We're spirit first. Everything that we do is a form of channeling, actually. It's a channeling from what we refer to as our spiritual self, our higher selves, our higher minds even. Me fenena tara nina kurya suharya tikra si papa hatu me fe eshi ishenese. But definitely go ground. Yeah, that'll help a lot. Mingana nunara midere zituro kursha sakuraka. I think we're almost done here. I'll try to jump on at 7 or so. 7 p.m. Pacific time. So it might be a little bit late on the East Coast. It'll be about 10. And sometimes some people can get like wiped out from the energy work, and some people can get jacked up and like energized. So you're done. You're done. Is that good? Yeah. Energy work equals OCD, get help. You don't have to mute people immediately. I appreciate my moderators, but I do, you know, people are being dicks, that's one thing. I'm not offended by people that don't understand things. You know, like I don't get pissed off at a 6-year-old because they don't understand calculus, you know? And not that I'm saying that like there's no difference. You can teach a 6-year-old at calculus. They can figure it out. They just have to have the data, the information, and the experience, and somebody to help them bridge those gaps in their understanding. You need to understand we got to get on a consistent vocabulary, right? Because our definitions are probably going to be different. The way that you define your reality is going to be drastically different than mine, because the way we define things, for example, if you think that energy healing is not possible, you define it as not possible. If I think it's either neutral, I don't care, or it's possible, that's a different belief system that gets created from those definitions, like a parameter in a game. Think of it like a computer system. Change the parameters, we change the experience. We change the belief systems that then begin to get projected out as our physical experience. It's a projection of something within us. We're having a consciousness experience. It's just it's not real, but it is real. Everything is essentially a paradox. But we do have a responsibility to keep the energy in this container clear and clean, and not because we can feel things. We can feel when people have ill intent. And to me, it's just I'm not offended by it because it's just, I just see them as not yet believing in themselves enough, because they can do everything that I can do. Everybody can do anything. Everybody can heal themselves. This is not something that I'm doing for somebody else. I am a permission slip from people that are receiving so that they can have the experience of shifting their energy themselves. That's what's happening. I'm not shifting the energy. I am doing something that then is responded, or it's the body, the human is responding by shifting the energies, because it's a belief system that we've agreed to. It's a collective belief system. And we're all spirit first. The collective belief systems are shifting. And as those collective belief systems, the collective definitions are changing those belief systems, and that's going to start to change our reality. As more people wake up or become more conscious of these things, as people start to do more research on the idea, on new science, on updated science, instead of just sticking to the stuff that they've taught us in schools forever that is outdated, start using different quantum models, and actually start studying what's been released in the past 20 years as far as peer-reviewed science. There's lots of papers. I'm happy to share a shitload of papers too on that. And then you can come to your own conclusions. I mean, there's so many patents that are related to these ideas. There's so many products that help you measure these things. There's so many, there's all sorts of stuff that can help you bridge those understandings. Yeah, just being open-minded, and it's really sad, unfortunately, is that people aren't using their creativity. If you don't think things are possible, you're just not thinking. And I don't mean that in a mean way. If you don't know how to make something, if you think, no, there's no way that can be this way, it doesn't work that way, then you really aren't very creative, or you're not trying, because you can think of a way. I promise you can think of a way that something is possible. You just have to actually try, instead of reacting to the programs that you've adopted. Once you change those programs, you change those definitions, you change those programs, then you change the possibilities. That doesn't mean that it's going to happen in your reality, because it's still your reality. Everybody's reality is different. We may feel like we're having this experience of doing this all together, and we are in some ways. We are and we're not at the same time. But your reality, from the perspective in which you're looking at, is different. Sometimes they overlap. So if you are in this room, you're overlapping in some way with my reality, because you're here. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here. There's no such thing as coincidences. Nothing is random. And that might be for you to say, okay, I don't like this stuff. I don't prefer this stuff. And that's perfectly okay, because it's your reality. You choose what you prefer. And there's no judgment to any of this stuff. It doesn't make anybody better or worse. It's just, hey, I recognize that this is who I am, and I have to be who I am so I can be happy and healthy. If I'm not who I am, I would be very, very sick, and I have been very, very sick. I was diagnosed with something that they were even considering terminal and uncurable. And that's what pushed me into this stuff, because Western medicine was giving me no options. They say, you're pretty much effed, dude. And here's a shitload of medications, to manage those symptoms. And here's a shitload of medications to manage the symptoms from the medications that we just gave you. Oh, and by the way, yeah, you're going to feel worse than you did without them. So, but it forces us. Pain is a powerful motivator. And it actually, pain leads us to power. So I'm very appreciative of all that stuff. But once we start to really struggle enough, we start to look for solutions for ourselves. And that's where the magic is once we start to empower ourselves. It's all about self-empowerment. Spirituality is an inside job. It's not something, there's no template for how to be spiritual. You can look like anything. You don't have to be like, oh, my beloved, namaste. You don't have to, and there's nothing wrong with that either. You don't have to be like that. Whatever it is that you have, any stigmas that you have towards spiritual people is something that you're insecure about within yourself. And that's okay. That's not a judgment at all. It's just why do we give a shit about what other people do? That's because it's something within us that is uncomfortable. Our ego structure says, no, because if I accept that, I might change. I might evolve as a human being. I might be more than I am right now. And that's scary to the ego structure. The ego structure's job is like a barking chihuahua barking at the mailman. It doesn't know that the mailman's a good guy and it is not a dangerous threat, but it's going ferociously because it's trying to protect the house. Sometimes we got to say to our ego structure, that collective set of programs that we call ourselves, that's me as Ty, as this ego structure. Sometimes we have to say, hey, go lay down, please. Thank you. I appreciate you trying to protect me, but we're going to grow and evolve. So go lay down, give it a little pet, and then the ego structure can evolve and it can contain more information. Because if you're not open-minded, if you're not open to new ideas, you're not going to get more data. You're not going to get more information. You've shut yourself out. And what is consciousness other than being conscious of things? That's all it is enlightenment is literally enlightenment. You're lighten up. You're enlightening up. Light is information. You're adding more information. Light is data. And science recognizes this. Light is information. Light is data. So when we're increasing our consciousness, we're increasing our conscious awareness. We're placing our awareness on things, are placing our light on things, and then we become aware of it, and that increases our consciousness. We hold more consciousness. So just be open-minded. Just be open-minded. Why not? You don't have to buy into anything. Your reality is yours. You choose what you prefer. I hope that makes sense. Take what resonates and forget the rest, dude. I'm just some weird dude wearing a shiny outfit on the internet. Who gives a shit? Speaking weird, blah, blah, blah. Speaking a bunch of gibberish. Speaking Billy Madison. Speaking. Okay, I love that. I love that. The beginning of Billy Madison. I love that so much. I love it so much. Or like and like the corn song, like the corn. Oh, I love it so much. Ba with the ba. I see these spells everywhere. I see them in media. I want to make. Oh, we got a solar flare coming. We just popped off a solar flare. So, an M class 1.45 solar flare just popped off. So there's going to be some incoming energies. So light is information, right? Light is data. So we get information from our sun. So when we have these solar flares, these coronal mass ejections, it's like a huge burst of information that moves through us, and it helps shift data that's inside of our energy field. It usually pushes out discordant frequencies, things that are no longer serving us because it's a higher frequency that are coming through. There's different sets of information that are coming through. I'm beginning to feel it coming in. And usually from even a physical perspective, the way that we measure things with our physical tools, the x-rays from a solar flare take about 7 minutes to get to us, but most of us that are sensitive feel it immediately, or at least almost immediately. That's probably about a minute or so off. And then the coronal mass ejections, the plasmic energies, take about 3 days or so to get to us. Sometimes solar flares and coronal mass ejections happen at the same time. Even just having coronal holes that are earth facing, like we have right now, is going to be increasing like solar winds, creating geomagnetic storms. So like that increases the chances of like aurora borealis, like the northern lights, which is really cool to see. But that's the reaction of that electromagnetic energy on our shields. The Earth has an energetic shield, just like we do. We have these energetic these frequency fences, these layers of energy. We're built on layers of energy, just like the Earth is, just like the different layers of the atmosphere. We're not separate from that. There's as above, so below. These things, and they express themselves in the same way at a higher scale, at the solar system level, at a galactic level, at a universal level, and it just keeps going. It's just as above, so below. Some different universal structures don't function the same as ours at all, so it can be a completely different experience that we literally can't even comprehend in certain universes. Some of them are just literally just a different thought. So it could be exactly like this universe, but we decided to make a different decision, what we might call a timeline jump. Just that our choices will split off timelines. We have individual timelines and we have collective timelines. So there's like you're playing your little mini missions in a campaign mode on a video game, but that campaign mode is going to lead you to the same ending of that game. You can choose to go different directions, but you ending up at the same spot. if that makes sense. Usha hrati kiresi. Gufra sikrasi mahate pefe ishna usha. Praharande kaya guhafa mekrai uchi chesana tu tuarata lekra. Have a good one, Starry Eyes. Thanks for hanging out. Gamer references. I used to be a pro gamer. Well, sort of. I had a semi-professional, non-profit gaming organization. It was really kind of complicated, but I mostly ran it. I started it because I played video games. Like gaming, like this reality is a game. It's a video game. So you can use the same analogies all over the place. Like we are being played as a video game. We're a video game character that the idea of our higher selves are playing. So it's like our spiritual version, our true self is like it's like the puppet master to us, and sometimes it's subtle. It's really subtle. But as we start to heal more and more, and we start to activate, remember more of who we are, it becomes less and less subtle. So all this stuff is autonomous. These are my higher selves. These different aspects of myself that are assisting in this. It's a form of higher self-integration. So I'm becoming more like the being that's playing the video game, right? And even all this stuff is like every single part of your body, every way that you look, every muscle, every finger movement and position, every body position and movement is like another button or a joystick on that controller that higher self has. Some people have a very multi-dimensional controller where it's just something freaking crazy. Some people just have a few buttons, and there's nothing better or worse to it. Would be one of the people that has a really multi-dimensional controller. You should never feel bad about being who you are. I would just nobody can actually make you feel a certain way either. So that's something that's got triggered within you. And I'm not putting down the experience that you had, and it's totally valid, especially the way that you feel. But just as a reminder, we're the ones that feel what we feel, and it's usually because there's something discordant in us, and it's like having that string that gets tapped and goes bing. There's that insecurity, and then you feel that feeling. So we're always responsible for our own feelings, and that's what this healing journey is about, is to help us find where that's at in us and shift that, so that next time that happens, we don't have any reaction to it. Like if we're walking down the street and somebody says, and you're wearing a yellow shirt, and somebody walks by and goes, dude, I hate everyone that wears red shirts. You'd be like, okay, cool story, bro. Sometimes dogs are brown. What's your point? You wouldn't have that reaction to it. But if your shirt was that color, you might be like, well, I'm wearing a red shirt. Like, what the hell? Like, that's, like, F you too, fuck you. But it's similar to that. So if it's not in us, it's not going to trigger us. And triggers are gifts. So if we can get triggered, we can find where that's at in us, and we can help heal that. It's really a gift. I think I celebrate my triggers, and they get less and less. So you get less and less triggered. Sometimes you still get triggered by the same thing. So there's layers to these things that continue to we wipe away slowly. Sometimes we can get to the root, that seed that's inside there, clear that, and that'll assist. But I'm sorry that you had that experience, and that your experience is very valid. I'm not saying that experience wasn't that way. Sometimes people can be more sensitive to the way that people are, we all have wounds, and sometimes a gentler approach can be beneficial, but sometimes that's not people's thing, I'm not going to speak about any specific person, but sometimes people's roles are to be a little bit more sassy and abrasive, because some people need that type of medicine. Some people are meant to be more, soft and understanding, more empathic. Some people need that. I sometimes need to get my butt kicked by people who are an asshole to me, because I usually get along with people. So when people are really, really like messed up, mean to me, it messes me up because it's confusing, but eventually I find where that's at inside me, and I can heal it. So I need those people that whoop my butt and kind of make me feel like shit, but I celebrate that. Yeah, that's beautiful about boundaries. Thank you for saying that. It gets better and better. When we first start, like I went through a period of probably a year or two where my triggers were everywhere. Thankfully, I had an awareness of how it worked at that time. but it was brutal. And it's like watching a train wreck in slow motion, especially when you know that you're aware that of how it works. It's like you're watching it happen, because it's not about getting to be your spiritual self. Like, it's not about being your higher self. It's about remembering yourself, getting there. It's that journey and all the experiences that we have that help us remember that. And through those experiences, we can choose different preferences, because that's why we're here, is so we can change and evolve as a being, as a soul. And we do that by having these, in this physical reality, it's an outward reflection. It's an outward experience. So it feels like it's outside of ourselves, which makes it really difficult. But it's just a reflection. It doesn't mean that it's, the reflection isn't always accurate, but it can have that just slight little flavor of what you need to it. It's like looking into a mirror. You look into a mirror, if you want, you looking at your reflection, you want, and it's frowning, you don't tell the reflection, hey, like, smile, like trying to get the reflection's mouth to smile and it to be happy. You have to change your smile, and then the reflection bounces that back to you, right? So you're looking at a mirror. If you want the mirror, your reflection to smile back at you, you have to smile. It's like that. When I speak light language, am I channeling? Yes, I'm channeling aspects of myself, though. So I'm just channeling different versions of me, different expressions of energy. So they might seem like they have different personalities or like vibes to them, but they're just different versions of me, expressions of energy, different hats. So they want me to boop 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 you. These are like the fairy avians. Boop boop boop. They're always trying to like play. Boop boop boop. Get up. No, quit taking it so serious and lighten up. Some of them can just sound like sound effects. Weird. Some of them sound really weird. Some of them are just like, they'll be like different clacking of my teeth. Like, for some reason, I can't make it do that. So like those ones have to come through when they need to, but it'll like clack different parts of my teeth to make different sounds, like different vibrations, which is a trip, especially on the inside. And the Sasquatch, there's different dialects of Sasquatch, and anytime I try to channel a Sasquatch, they just want to scream. They just want to make a light, like just, whoa! And I'm like, dude, I can't do that. Like, my neighbors, I already think I'm crazy. And then Sasquatch definitely some Sasquatch sound like that. There's different dialects of Sasquatch, of course, just like different people. And Sasquatch are a type of human. They're like our big brothers. They're like our big brothers and sisters. So we're very closely related to them, but they're very spiritual beings. Well, some of them are. Just like humans, there are ones that aren't so spiritual. So some of them are really, adept in their energy practices and their understandings. So they can, what we would refer to as phase. So that's why they can be hard to find, is because they can literally phase out of a step between dimensional frequencies. Some of them can't. Some of them are more 3D, and those are those ones that you hear about that are kind of sassy or mean or that are doing different things. But for the most part, they're very conscious, gentle beings, and they're going to have a really big part in our ascension process, because they are the original, like we would evolve into Sasquatch essentially if our DNA hadn't been manipulated, if we hadn't been messed with a little bit. So yeah, they're amazing. So we shouldn't be hunting them. They're not big monsters. I mean, not any more than some human beings are. But I love them so much. I live in the Pacific Northwest, and they're all over the place here, and they're a really big part of our community, and we love them so much. So, and I can feel them coming in right now, and they're just happy to be chatted about in a way that's conscious, because they're tired of being hunted and saying that they're monsters and stuff. They don't like that too much. But they understand. They understand. Do they still work with the Greys, or do they stop? It depends. There's different factions, and it wasn't necessarily that they were working with the Greys. They were working with a different type. They were. That's a long story. Back then, there was a lot of different species, and a lot of different species were working with the DNAs on the planet. So it really depends. It's kind of a diverse thing, and it might, and there's different types of Greys too. So that's important to remember too. So not all Greys are. A lot of the Greys are just kind of like biological meat suits. They're kind of like robots with a consciousness connected to them. So, and then other ones aren't. Some have a little bit more connections. Some of them are a little bit more hybrids, because there's just so many of them, so many different types. But yeah, they definitely had an influence on our DNA, or on the planet's DNA. Lots of like seedings and stuff. Yeah, the Greys had a whole bunch of implants on me when I first started doing healing work. I had implants. When people saw me psychically, they pretty much I looked like a robot, I think. I looked like a human robot. I had so much crap in me. I true divine being, or true divine healing. Welcome. I think I'm kind of wrapping up. I think it's like calming down. The energy's kind of calming down. Dream Kitten says, I'm still getting implants. Yeah, we still do. So they're not all negative. I had a lot of implants because they were kind of like contracts. So a lot of my implants were about collecting data for different connections that I've had throughout other experiences of me. So it can be beneficial, because in contracts you can get something from it as well. But at some point, it's not beneficial at all. So we get to a certain point where it's not helpful at all. We don't need them. We don't even need neutral ones. They just are going to mess with our energy. We are perfect as we are, as just pure organic beings, and that's what we're restoring right now. Is that our true organic architecture, our Christic templates. How can you release them? It depends. They can be tricky. There's some really complicated types of implants, especially these days. They're kind of like a Venom. Seen the movie Venom, or the character Venom, how it's kind of like this black goo that kind of undulates and stuff. There's a lot of those. It's like a living technology, which can be really tricky, because if you leave any of it in there, it can just grow back. I would recommend to see a reputable energy worker to assist you with that. I mean, I can assist you with that, but whatever works for you. You don't have to go to me. There's lots of people that can do that. The Aura Lady, she can definitely do that. Sammy can definitely do that. I'm happy to talk on it. And of course, these are just my perspectives, everybody. Just a disclaimer. Anything that I say is my current perspective right now. It's my understandings. It doesn't mean that it's full truth for everyone or for you, or I'm asking you to believe it or understand it from my perspective. I'm just sharing my perspective, and I reserve the right to shift my perspective at any given moment. I am so willing to be wrong, by the way, too. So just take it as just extra data. If it feels right, maybe it's a little tiny puzzle piece that you need. Maybe it was just one little thing that I said that you needed, and you just forget the rest. That's totally cool. Do I do private sessions? Yes, I do. I've been on my own healing pause for this last month. This last month has kicked my butt. I went through some massive processing and shadow work and releasing and I'm integrating that now. So I had a session that I was scheduled for yesterday for a full frequency upgrade. That's my main, the work that I do is helping people just whatever that next level is. So activations, healings, upgrades all together. But oh, thank you, Amber. I forgot where I was going. I just got a notification that just threw my brain completely off. Am I doing personal music transmissions like before? I can't open it up. I'm just kind of, what I'm doing is I'm kind of waiting until October. So about October 2nd or 3rd, then I'm going to start to do a lot more. So I'm kind of like still in like this healing, kind of like letting that stuff kind of be as it is. If it comes up organically, then I will. But for the most part, I'm still waiting until like next week. So I would hold off to try to book or anything until at least next week, just because I would hate to have to reschedule for you, because I will do that if I'm asked to, just to respect my own energy at this time, because I haven't done that too much in the past unless I've got my butt completely kicked, and that happens often. So what I'm doing is I'm breaking out of these cycles of getting my butt kicked, like very cyclically, like on these cycles, because it happens really often, and I'm doing everything possible so it doesn't happen like that again. So I have to respect my own energy, and I encourage everybody to do the same as well. Yeah, because we're going through massive shifts, and everybody's experiences that differently. You like this jacket? I like it too. I love this stuff, man. I had some other stuff too. I had another shirt that I liked even more, but I guess when I stored it away, it got messed up somehow. I didn't get to wear it this summer. I wanted to wear it like to festivals and stuff, but it was too hot. There's like no ventilation. This stuff would be great, like like if you needed to stay warm though, nice and sweaty, warm, sweaty. Keep hearing October 3rd, 4th time frame for many things. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm feeling too. Is that people are saying the 2nd, but I'm kind of like somewhere between like the 2nd and the 6th or something is what I'm feeling, is things are going to kind of let up a bit, and then we're going to be integrating more, because there's so much that's been processed. There's so much work that we've done at a collective level this last 6 months. Since February, so much work has been done at a collective level. You wouldn't believe it. Moon jacket. Sakura Sunshine says, I'm so lost lately. I don't know what I'm supposed to do. That's a very normal feeling. You're lost with everybody else. So know that you're not alone. That can be a really big deal, as feeling like we're alone and feeling like we should have the answers, and we don't. That's kind of the point, is that the human only sees so far. We're like down on the game board, and we can only see what's in front of us. Our higher selves, the big versions of us, the spiritual versions of us, our truer selves, they're up high. They see the whole game board. They see all this stuff that's available and that's happening. So they're always guiding us towards what's best for each of us at an individual level. So if we can like learn to trust that, which is not an easy task as a human, it can be. That's the money ticket. And we can guide ourselves. The compass for that is what excites us in any given moment without judgment to that. So whatever we feel like doing and whatever makes us feel good is what our higher selves wants us to do. And I know that's hard for the human, because we're like, well, I have to pay bills. I have to do this. I have to do that. And another solar flare just popped off. An M2.97 just popped off. Holy. But yeah, follow those feels. That's why I say follow the feels, and that your higher self guides you through your excitement and through your passions. Follow your passions. Like I say, what would you, if you could do anything? If you could do anything without any limitations, what would you be doing right now? Like if you could do anything any day, not to make money, what would you do? Would you just go swimming all the time? Like would you go travel? What would you do? And the idea is then to figure out how to make that a way to sustain yourself. Unfortunately, this is just the standard that we live in right now, is the energy exchanges that we use money. It doesn't have to be that way. We can be fully abundant without having to use financial resources. So, but we have to be open to seeing that and trust that. So Chicago Rodeo says, where can I find light language written down so I can read and repeat at home? So it's meant to be organic and dynamic. You can find light language codes on, like, say, Facebook, there's a lot of different groups and stuff that share light language codes. Groups like Keepers of the Codes. You can see different other people's codes, but I would encourage you to channel your own, because other people are channeling their own expressions of energies, right? It's their codes. Your codes are going to be very powerful once you just trust your process. Look into the idea of automatic writing. That might assist you, and just being conscious of that process. So I do my own codes, my own written codes, but yeah, that's what I would suggest looking. Or, and, Google it. There's a lot of people that's their thing, as making light language art, which is very powerful. They're very powerful codes. I would love to be free from the financial matrix too, Stacy. And it'll happen. How do you channel that language? I want to learn. It gets activated. You can get it activated by people. You can get it. It can happen spontaneously by doing healing work. You start to heal things in yourself. It can happen. You start to integrate different versions of yourself, healing different parts and pieces, returning pieces back to yourself. It can be activated that way. But there's other people, there's practitioners that's what they focus on. So, like, I always refer people to either Tina Powell, which is cosmic.earth.child on TikTok, or a Deb Clark, which is Mystic Heart Space on TikTok. Deb Clark, that's what she specializes in. That's what all of her work is about, is activating people's soul languages. And once your soul language is activated, which is your own unique expression of light language, then you can start to activate other, like, unique dialects. So you can be like, well, I want to activate my Arcturian, and she will help activate that and calibrate that for you. I can do these things as well. It's just not my focus, right? So I try to stay focused on what my thing is, and my thing is just like activations. It's like upgrades, helping people just embody more of who they are. So I try not to make those decisions on what that looks like. I connect directly with your higher self and work directly with your higher self, not anybody else, to get you what you need. So it's a straight line process for your highest good, as designed by the bigger version of you. But you're always welcome to guide me towards a certain intention. I'm like straight output at this point, so I don't dive too much into information. I'm not like a reader. I do get information, I get downloads if it's relevant, but for the most part, it's all about output. You just spend the time to get you where you need to be, because that's honestly the best use of my time personally, just the way that I work. Hello everyone, hi. I'm actually just about to get off. I've been blabbing away for plenty long. I'm gonna download this. It might not be available for a little bit, but I'm gonna download this, and then I'm gonna put it on YouTube. So I have a YouTube channel. You can go to the link in my bio and find it. You scroll down to the bottom, there's an icon, or you can just search for Ty-EL on YouTube, and you should be able to find me. I think it might be Ty-El Heal, like /Ty-El Healing or something, or Ty-El Heals. I don't remember. The TikTok page is cosmic.earth.child. That is Tina. And then that's Deb Clark, which is Mystic Heart Space, all together. But Deb Clark, yeah. And if you do go to Deb Clark, tell her that I referred you. Just say, hey, Ty sent me over. I do a lot of work with Deb and Tina. Yep, that's right. Yep, at Cosmic Earth Child. Speaking in tongues. I'm speaking light linguistics, light languages. Tongues is a form of light languages. I'm not speaking in tongues per se, because tongues is associated with religions generally, and religions keep things in boxes. They're designed to keep things limited, right? Because that's the whole idea. Is, hey, these are the rules. This is what God said. You have to do this, and you can't do this, and this. So it's light is information. So light is data. So it matters where you're getting your data from. Are you getting your data from a limiting source, where if there's things that are you're only allowed to be this much in this set of rules, or do you want to get it from there's no limitations, no rules, as designed by you, the biggest version of you, because you know what you want. If that makes sense. Can I ask, is my light language supposed to be for me or to share? I never thought it was for me to share. Maybe, yeah, it's up to you. I mean, it's higher self-integration. So you don't have to, when your light language gets activated, you don't have to go and be like, go on TikTok and do what I do, because it's not an easy thing to do, especially with light languages. I know, I totally understand that. but it's a way for you to interface more with the truer version of you. So it enhances whatever your intentions are, whatever your focuses are. So I would use your light languages while holding an intention on certain things. You can use it on yourself. Like if you have a pain in your body, just use it, place your awareness on that, see it already healed. That's important. It's already healed. And then speak your light languages, or do your motion light languages, and just observe it shifting to that healed state already. It's already gonna be there. It can be for anything. It can be for manifestation. My me's are encouraging me to use my signing as I speak all the time, and I forget, and it's a little awkward. They want me to be like at the grocery store talking to somebody, or anytime, always using my signing along with it, because it's going to exchange more data. It's going to be exchanging more information and energy, and it's going to be more powerful, and it's going to be more accurate. It's going to be more well received by the person, whether they are aware of it or not. They're going to understand my true intentions more, and they're going to feel and vibe more. And we're all going, the more that we are being more of our authentic self, because that's my authentic self. My humans still having a hard time with it. My ego structure still having a hard time with doing that. I do it, but I forget, or it's uncomfortable. And so I don't always do it, but that's part of my role, is to be what we would call a pillar, to say, hey, I'm doing my absolute best to be me, as hard as that is sometimes, because it gives permission because I want to, what would make me happier than anything is to see other people be their truest version of themselves. Nothing makes me happier. Like that is my dream, is to see everybody being their authentic self, whatever that looks like. If your authentic self is just the biggest asshole in the world, I love the fuck out of you. I still do. Like, if you're authentic, like, I love assholes that are just being authentic with themselves, because you can't hate them for being who they are, Like, it's like, yeah, you just know that they're assholes, so just stay away from them if you don't like assholes. Or, sometimes it's funny, I don't know. Like, sometimes they're funny. But, yeah. All right, I love y'all. I've blabbed away far too much all morning long. So I hope you have an amazing rest of your day, or whatever time it is, rest of your night. I'll try to jump on tonight to do some group healing work on specific issues. If you're interested in learning more, follow my page, of course. Thank you, Sammy. Follow my page. You can email me, tyelheals@gmail.com, and I'll do my best to get back as soon as I can. You can ask any questions. I do my best to respond. You can find me on Facebook or Instagram. Just go to the link in my bio, and you can find more ways to connect with me. I will be offering a lot more very soon. My website is going to have a lot of free resources. I'm going to be doing more group events, group activations, like Zoom events, so we can all connect through that. Lots of different stuff. So stay tuned. I love you. Have an awesome rest of your day. Thank you to my beautiful moderators. Thank you, Stacy. I love you. And yeah. Krakisi nekire turra fahiera pakaya. Ninatu fekia rasu tutumbarakai. Pata piene peata. Pero kurkua. Fere gupr. Pero come pur. Katata yana naria karoma. Bye.